Greetings everybody, and welcome back to the landscape. Welcome to a grey, miserable, flat day on Great Mell Fell in the Lake District National Park. Now, I've done what most landscapers do on a dull grey day with flat light. I've tried to find an area with some woodland. I've been on Great Mell Fell before, so I knew that it had areas of woodland. The forecast suggested we might get some, there was a small chance of some sunlight moving around. And I know that there's some lone trees up here. And I thought, splash of sunlight, lone tree, might happen. It didn't. So I'm actually on my way back down. I've done a sort of a circular route. And on my way back down, I found a tree. Now, you can kind of see behind me, autumn here hasn't really quite kicked in yet. Not yet, it's on its way. But there's a tree in front of me that seems to have decided it wants to hurry up and pack up its bags for the autumn and head into winter. And I'm going to spin the camera around and talk you through some of the compositional decisions that I've had to make in order to capture this little tree, and also have a quick chat about frame size, because here frame size really matters. So I've spun the camera around now, and hopefully you can see said tree very clearly in the middle of the frame. Now, it doesn't really matter where we start to do this, but let's start to do it there. And let's have our viewing aid, which you'll all be familiar with, or at least those people that have followed me on this channel, and try and see how we can contain the tree within a frame. So that's, this is roughly a 4x3 frame-ish, and if we just do that, then yeah, it contains the tree okay. This one here is leaning into the frame quite nicely. There's a tree at the background here. So I've got bookends containing the tree. But the thing that bothers me is the sky in the top left-hand corner, sorry. That's really, really bothering me. That bright area that's over here. Now, that is a resplendent tree. And I think as a resplendent tree, it should have the opportunity to really shout. So I'm going to move to my left. It's a bit squelchy and a bit boggy. Something like so. Here comes the rain. If we select our 4x3-ish frame, yeah, that's okay. But I've got bits of pale sky up here. However, if I lift my camera up and point it down, oh, this is going to be interesting. How do I do? I need to point the camera down. Here you have an Osmo that you can move. There we go. So if we do something like that, have you seen how by raising the camera up, I can actually start to eliminate areas or sections of the sky? Now, let's put the camera back up again. Let's keep moving. Let's move around the scene and try and see if we can find a combination of background that actually complements the tree, really makes it shout without there being too much going on. Let's get a little bit closer as well so that it's a bit more prominent in the Osmo. So now I've moved a little bit to the right. I have a tree trunk here. The tree is leaning, or that tree is leaning in that way. That's quite good. I quite like that. Now I've got sky top right, which if I lift the camera up and point it down, whoops, oh, come on. What I'm trying to do is represent what I can do in camera. It's not really working too well on the Osmo. Yeah, I think, let's just move that out a bit. I think this view is suffering because of the sky up there. And now, if I move around, let's try and keep the tree in shot. If I move around a bit more to the left, now that tree is well and truly in the sky. And I think the sky is dominating my attention. Don't like that too much. I think my eye jumps from the tree to the sky because the sky is so bright. One thing I have spotted here though is that, don't know what it is. Is it a yew tree? I don't know. It's a tree, but it stands out in the landscape. And now the sun's actually starting to come out. Oh, that's even better. But, you know, I quite like that. I might actually come back to that tree. But that tree is going to help me demonstrate something. Again, I think I'd have to go high up and look down so that I could eliminate some sky. But let's look at the tree through a square. I think that does an excellent job of containing that subject. And of course, there aren't any leading lines. There's nothing to direct me to the tree. The image is about the tree. And a square is excellent at presenting just a subject. So, tell you what then, let's go back up here a little bit where we had that nice big fat tree behind this red one. Sorry for the jiggly camera, but trying to keep it in shot. So, let's try it with a square. Again, I think I'm going to have to be a little bit creative with height. Too much sky again, even if I got high up. So if we do a 4:3 frame, that helps to eliminate some of the sky. Let's go really extreme and do a, 16:9. Now that contains the subject, but I've got sky left and right. So what I might have to do here is be creative with my frame. Choose a frame that best contains the subject, but then actually make some decisions with regard to what am I going to crop when I get into software. So I'm going to put the viewing aid down here on the floor, go and get the tripod and start to have a play in camera. Right, after lots of faffing and fiddling, there's my tripod. It is as high as I can possibly get it, which is taller than me, which is a good thing. I think you can just about see the screen, and I'm going to apologise for wobbly cam. My video camera tripod just isn't tall enough to get to do this, so you're just going to have to make do as best we possibly can. I know that my hand is in shot, but there we go. Right, so this is my square. Like behind the viewing aid, I'm not sure a square works, principally because I either end up with a lot of space at the top, or if I reposition the camera, I actually end up with a lot of space at the bottom. So I did say that frame size was key. So if I go 3:2, I think I'm zoomed in, there we go, yeah, I'm zoomed in as much as I can, then proportionally the tree is better contained, top and bottom. I've just got these bright distractions, sort of more so on the left really than on the right. And this is where I think I'm just going to have to get creative with frame when I get to software. I just clip from the left and the right, just end up with a slightly unconventional frame in order to present the subject. Now the frame is artificially brightened so that you can see it. And if I actually bring the brightness down, you can see, you know, the color of the tree really sings, certainly in contrast to the tree that's behind it. And I think also I'm going to have to use a polarizer. There's actually quite a lot of glare on the leaves of the trees. Now it's raining, so I'm going to have to be careful with the polarizer. I actually might have to hand hold it before taking the picture, because I'm pretty sure if I was to do otherwise, I'd end up with raindrops. So that's very, very quick and very rough, and I'm sorry it's a little bit wibbly wobbly, but that's the decision I'm going to make. And I'm going to take the picture now quickly, and then I shall show you the final version clipped in software with maybe a little bit of creative cloning to remove some of the bright bits, and I shall show that to you right now. So this is my final image. As suspected in the field, I did have to be creative with frame size, clipping in from the left and the right in order to try and remove some of that bright sky distraction. Even with this crop, I've had to also clone out a fair amount of sky. Although you can see on the top right hand side there is a bright area, I have tried to clone that out, but I can't do it without it looking unconvincing, and I think it's something I should have spotted there and then in the field and tried to do something about. I think overall this is a go back to it and try again view, or maybe what I should have done was look for something more intimate, maybe just the trunk of the tree, gone portrait, and just used the ground, the trunk and the foliage to try and tell the same story. I did mention using a polarizer. That had no impact whatsoever, so I actually took the image without the benefit of a polarizer. Tell me what you think in the comments. What would you have done had you been in my position, or maybe what you would have done in software to try and rescue this situation? As an image, it's okay, but I'm probably not going to add it to my portfolio. If that image worked, you'll have seen it. I haven't seen it yet, but hopefully it's come out okay. The rain has finally started. I'm getting soaking wet and I've left my camera out. So I'm going to call this one here. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found that very quick compositional demonstration and explanation. It was useful and you understood it, so you could take it back out into the landscape and have a go with it yourself. As usual, please like, comment and subscribe. And just as quickly as the rain has started, it has finished. So I'm going to make my way back down this fell, go and find some lunch and move on to my next location. So until the next one, take care, stay safe and stay well. Bye for now.